So first, the what. And we think about different sounds that we can perceive with our hearing, our sense of hearing. And we might talk about sound as the broadest category. And that could be the sound of cars and buses and trains, airplanes. Could be the sounds of animals and other nature sounds, the sounds of a waterfall. And then we have a subcategory that we might call noise, and we might interpret that as unpleasant sounds or undesirable sounds. And then music is another subcategory that I think most of us would assume to be desirable sounds, sounds that communicate in a way that I just described earlier. We could discuss the why of music in different cultures. The first thing is the communication intention. I give a couple examples here of a conch shell, which is that seashell, the large seashell that many subtropical and tropical cultures use, either as a signaling device, like we do as traditionally been done in Polynesia, or sometimes as a musical instrument. And then, of course, a trumpet is a recognizable instrument for most people. We will take a look at that in some other class discussions, and I will perform a little bit of trumpet music for you to make some other points about music. We could talk in the why of music. We can talk about the function, and here are some typical functions in different cultures. To have a lullaby, to soothe a baby to go to sleep, or a young child to go to sleep. And we would expect certain kinds of music to function as lullabies, and probably my trumpet would not be a good lullaby instrument because it would be too loud and too forceful. But a voice can be a very quiet, soothing sound, or possibly a flute. So we have that function of a lullaby to have a young child go to sleep. Celebration. Many, many cultures have music as a very central part of their celebrations. And worship. Many cultures, most cultures I think, probably use music in their worship of a higher power, a deity, someone to whom they are looking to for guidance. And worship is a part of that expression and that connection between the human world and that spiritual world. When we talk about the how of music, we can talk about the ways that music is made. Probably the most universal way is through the human voice. And whether it's singing as we know it today, or chanting, or any kind of expression that involves the human voice that fulfills a musical rather than a conversational function. That's a very common way of the how of music, how it's made. We have other situations where we can do what I call impromptu music making with impromptu instruments. You could drum on any surface, and I'm not a great drummer, but as I sit in this stool, I could make a few basic rhythm patterns and use that stool as an impromptu drum. Of course, we have what I refer to as dedicated instruments, instruments that were created and conceived specifically to make music. Some examples from cultures include flutes, bamboo or metal flutes, fiddles, violins, stringed instruments like guitar, ukulele, those types of dedicated instruments that are specifically for music making. Now today, I thought as an introduction we could take a look at some specific video examples, and I'll provide some links for you here to take a look at these videos, listen to the music. In some cases you get to hear a musical artist explain their musical craft, their background in music, their purposes in making music. In other cases we'll discuss that as we go through this presentation. So as we do that, I want you to think about the what of music, the why of music, and the how of music in each of these contexts. And I think that that will orient us towards the way we're going to approach this course and the new knowledge and understanding that I hope you will acquire through the course. Now I chose these examples kind of at random. There are many, many rich musical traditions, of course. And wherever you're sitting in this online classroom, in your place of residence, there are a number of instruments and styles of singing, styles of making music. So these are just some samples to orient you towards these ideas of the what, why, and how of music.